piano that you grow out of. You buy a piano that you grow into. Okay, it's something your family grows into and experiences more, rather than buying something that's an electronic instrument. So you need to trust your salesperson. You need to have a good teacher. I think you should have a piano technician with you if you have any questions. Okay, and then finally, you need to have a good dealer, because there's I'm not sure what kind of all these businesses that you are in, but there's something very, very unique about pianos. They are very small industries. So if you have a problem with a piano, or the piano doesn't sound like you think it should, or you think you've made a wrong decision, if you call the dealer can get on the phone and call the president of the company, the CEO, doesn't matter where they are. And they can say, I have a customer who's not satisfied. And believe it or not, most of these companies will respond to you. I had a problem recently with the piano, and I called the sales rep and so forth, and the president of the company said, well, what do you need? I said, well, I got these 3 parts, you're not working. He said, I'll send them to you. Okay, so you cannot do that with Toyota. Okay, you can't do that with General Motors. You can't do that with most manufacturers. But in this industry, if you make sure you select the piano with the right dealer, right salesperson, right manufacturer, you can guarantee that whatever happens with that piano, or whatever happens, that they will take care of you. I've worked for Yamaha for many, many years. I've had them bring in whole new pianos after 10 years. Okay, because the reputation of the piano is so important to them. So keep that in mind, that if you're nervous about buying a piano, the best thing to do is really rely on your advisors, people that you can trust to help you move along. Okay, now, I have time for questions, and then I'm ready to turn it over. Any questions? Oh, question already. Please.
I want to know, you were talking about the woods. Mm-hmm. Does that mean that all Yamaha pianos are going to be made of the same wood? Or do you have to ask about wood that each one look at?
Well, mostly, like for example, grand pianos, and I'm really talking about grand pianos here.
Yes.
Mostly grand pianos were historically made in Japan.
Okay.
So if they were made in Japan, they had certain restrictions of what they used for things, and so basically they were made out of the same materials.
Okay.
Now they have manufactured geographically, so it's not unusual for them to put a different pin block in. Okay, because certain climates are more humid, certain climates are more dry, so sometimes they do things like that, or have historically. But to answer your question is, there's not very much variance. Once they set the design up, they don't have much change. If you see a new model coming out or something, the C7345, they may announce that they're using a different board.
Okay.
The sounding boards are about the same and so forth. What is the difference with them is, I would say that, well, no. I asked you for questions, so I'm not going to give you answers you asked. Any other questions, please?
Our piano is quite old and string keep broken. And so right now we are thinking maybe you have more knowledge than we have. What kind of hammer do you think is the best for the piano?
Good question. Ask for strings to go to hammers, okay? It depends on the sound you want. Okay, if you want a rich, warm European sound, then you're usually going to Renner or an oboe hammer, German hammers. If you want a harder, a brighter Japanese sound, you get a Matagawa or Yamaha hammers. Okay, if you want a New York sound, those hammers are made with hot glue. If you want like a New York Steinway sound, you buy a New York hammer, which is made out of hard glue. So the hammers are very, very important. They produce the tone. So you need to know like what kind of piano it is, number one. Number two, where it's going to be played, what kind of music is going to be played on it. I usually say default is if you have a Yamaha, put Yamaha hammers on. If it's a Steinway, put Steinway. Okay, that's the first thing. If you say no, I don't like that, okay, fine, but take some time, make an educated decision. Please. You break strings all the time. I've seen that. Must be Dad paying to fix them. Strings do not break usually because of the hammers. That usually strings break because the hammers have gotten flat. They get flat, and then almost any hammers will break strings. The hammers need to be shaped continually. It's a very good question. when I tuned at the symphony, I would tune, they're having a concert, let's say on Saturday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So let's say they're having 5 concerts. One guy plays 5 times. I tune before every concert. But I spend maybe 45 minutes tuning. The other 45 minutes, I'm shaping the hammers, voicing the hammers. So when hammers wear, they break strings. Very, very hard for a person to break strings in a properly regulated piano. In whatever 15 years of working at Jones Hall, maybe 2 strings for a performance. Break. The strings are the same. The steel strings are the same. Buy the steel strings the same place. The copper strings are a little bit different, bass strings. But normally it's the fact that the pianos need to be shaped and taken care of. It's regulation.
How long is that? Like how long does it take for the to wear out? Like
if you play a lot of hours,
like 3 hours a day.
if you play 3 hours a day, they need to be shaped at least yearly, and probably every 5 years, new hammers. At Rice University, I mean, at concert level pianos, they're replaced about every 5 years, sometimes less. Okay, so here, this is the thing. A piano is a moving, living thing. I mean, it wears out. Things happen to it. It's not like an organ. You turn it on, it just works forever. There's parts that wear out on it. That's a very, very good question. Usually strings are not broken. Sometimes it's technique, but usually it's just a case that the hammers haven't been maintained and they wear out the string and the string breaks. I'm not sure that answers your question, but I'll be happy to answer that. Okay? Yeah, I'll be happy to talk about strings. I replaced 2 sets of strings this week. So I do it all the time. I do strings all the time. Okay, you put new steel strings on a piano like this every 25, 30 years, new bass strings every 10, 12 years. What you should do. Doesn't mean everybody does it, right? Does everybody take their car and get it serviced like they should? No, but you don't drive your piano down the freeway. So if you had a flat tire, on a piano you have a flat tire, you don't notice it, okay? Next question. Please.
Well, would it make sense to choose the metal instead of wood? Because with the weather in Houston, humidity affect wood. What do you think of that?
That is the logic of putting more metal in. You control for humidity. And that's one philosophy. The other philosophy is that the whole action transmits sound, and people think there's a warmness with wood. And you can rework wood, like if you take a screw out of metal once or twice, it starts to wear. Whereas wood, you can work with it a little bit more sometimes. But it's a difference in philosophy. Okay, I would say I have a preference, but it will affect it. Probably less chance of things going wrong with the metal. But when you go to rebuild it and so forth, sometimes you have problems because you just can't put screws in and out of metal as much. Understand what I mean? It's just a little different. Next question. Maggie, what's my time here? Any other questions? No other questions? Okay. Well, thank you very much for allowing me to come and talk to you. It's been a pleasure.